Hi, everybody, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 11 of the High Scores High Stakes podcast, the podcast that is usually a kitchen dream, which turns out to be a kitchen nightmare. I'm your host, sometimes, Tomahawk. Mr. Lover is having technical issues this week, and Cardinal Smith has a few more pressing matters to attend to, so the two of them won't be attending this week's episode, so you're stuck with me. How are we doing? For those who are listening, this is the first time listening to High Scores High Stakes. One, go back to the start. You'll make a little bit more sense. But in the meantime, I'll just explain what High Scores High Stakes is. High Scores High Stakes is typically three friends, three PlayStations, competing in gaming challenges over a 12-week period. Every week a new game, every week a new challenge. The winner getting 3 points, second place getting 2 points, third place getting 1 point. At the end of the 12-week series, we tally up the points and the winner comes home with the High Scores High Stakes Cup. Outside of regular based podcasting, we usually do our SideQuest series. Again, another 12-week stint of just conferences, lists, and all things PlayStation related. We then also have the last Monday of every month is a dedicated Game of the Month episode. We usually just take a game, deep dive it, and talk about everything about that game. So, if you think that High Scores High Stakes, that 1 hour 10 a week is just not enough, you can also direct yourself to highscoreshighstakes.com. On the website, we have links to every platform that we are on the internet, be it Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, our Discord server as well. So do hop in, drop us a follow, like, rate, subscribe to the podcast. It's always greatly appreciated. It helps with the visibility and making the community just that little bit bigger as we grow as a podcast then. So I think in record time, that has been all of the housekeeping done and locked in. Let's have a look at the league table as things stand then. So after 10 episodes before our Christmas break, the standings are looking like this. In third place on 32 points is Cardinal Smith. In second place is myself, Tomahawk, on 33 points. And in first place, also on 33 points, tied on challenge wins, but up there by the virtue of alphabetical order is Mr. Lover. So very tight at the top, very tight across the three positions here now. So this is one of those funny things that once we went down from a 4 to a 3, we thought, how is this going to stay competitive? How are we going to make this work? My days, this is the most competitive and the tightest this league table has ever been. Pretty much the way Overcooked's going to work now is that any one of us could take top spot, but it'll be top spot by a point, if not less. You know, we're looking at finest margins at this point here. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at the gameplay footage here now for Overcooked 2. So this week's game, as there is no name that game, there'll be no what are you playing, but if there is a game that you're playing, let us know in the comments below on any of the platforms you're listening to this on. What we'll do is we'll go straight into our challenge game this week, which was Overcooked 2. This week, however, we're doing a little bit of a twist. As opposed to just playing myself, Cardinal, and Lover, we decided what we would do is we would rope in the spouses of the podcast in a team co-op head-to-head challenge then. So, as I said, the game is Overcooked 2, developed and published by Team 17. And it is I don't want to say, it's a high scores challenge of World 2 or World 1, Level 2 of Sushi City. So I think we'll just go straight into it now. It's going to be a pretty short episode today, so we'll have a look at the video. I'll have a wee dissect of everyone as they want because it's the first time I'll have been seeing everybody else's gameplay, and we'll just go from there, I think. So here we are, Overcooked 2. Not a great deal to talk about this game. It is a pretty manic 2.5 minute level that we're playing in Sushi City. The main sort of points of the game is you have to compile your ingredients, you have to chop up what you need, boil whatever you need, and make sure that everything gets assembled and correctly put onto the pass. Then you get points for every correct order done, combos of correct orders done, and you get penalized if you put up incorrect orders as well. So first up, we have myself and my wife's gameplay. So we'll just get that booted up here and we'll have a wee look at the process that we sort of were thinking of as we went then. So my plan was, because the map is pretty much divide and conquer, then was get all the rice on to go, and we shall get all of the fish divvied up. As long as we had sushi rolls on the plates, we were pretty golden in terms of a baseline. but you're quite quick at having incorrect items placed at the incorrect times as well. So communication, or lack thereof at this point, became quite apparent. And as the level progresses, you also have innocent bystanders who just are there to solely get in the way. Then, so as it stands, we've got a couple of dishes out anyway. The communication, we don't have the audio recorded, which is quite handy, but there is a good bit of communication. We all know what our jobs are supposed to be, as long as there are plates being assembled at all times. We're in a pretty safe space at this point there. Always keeping an eye out on items potentially overcooking. So I'm constantly making sure that there's rice on the go, and my wife is always making sure that there are fish sliced and prepped and ready to go then. So it's pretty much a well-oiled machine here. We're at 480 points here. This is also a great idea because I have no idea how the other guys have done, and I have no idea if this score that we've set up is going to be a good baseline score or not. But we are doing okay in my head anyway. The one function I did enjoy is that there's a lot of throwing, and as long as it lands on the appropriate square, it'll automatically set itself into that space, which is quite nice. So we're just over the 750 point mark here. We're still another just over a minute to go. And the rice, yeah, I've got the rice constantly flowing. My wife has the fish and the rice paper constantly in full swing as well. So we have a decent system here. I'm just hoping that it is good enough now. But yes, that's it, over the thousand point mark. And I'm looking back at it now, I'm thinking we probably could have been smoother with our movements here, but my wife is an interesting gamer, or passive gamer at least anyway. She still uses the directional buttons, whereas I found that the fluidity of movement was much handier whenever you were using the control stick. But we're cracking on all the same anyway. We've got about 15 seconds just taken over to now. We're just over 1,300 on the scoreboards, and we're raking up the tips rightly as well. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is it, done and dusted. We have finished our first round there. We have ended up with a score of 1,584 points. Now, I have no idea if that's even a good score or not, but what that is, it sets up a pretty healthy benchmark, in my opinion, anyway. So 1584, Mr. and Mrs. Tomahawk. What we'll do is we'll have a wee break here, and then we shall look in and see Cardinal, or no, we'll see Mr. Lava Lava and Mrs. Lava Lava and see how they got on next in Overcooked. While we take a quick break from the gameplay footage of Overcooked, I figured that since I can't ask my co-host what we're playing, I figured I'd just tell you guys what I've been playing over the last couple of weeks. We've had a few weeks in which we've had a bit of a break over Christmas, New Year's. All the festive season is done and dusted, but it hasn't stopped us from playing a few games anyway, at least. One of the games I do want to talk about is I played a game picked up on PlayStation Plus, was Killer Frequency. It was ironically another game that was done by the Team 17 team, and you play a radio host doing a midnight radio segment, and you have to answer the phone, play records while a serial killer is on the loose in the town, and you have to call in potential victims call in, and you have to do a bit of problem solving, a little bit of puzzling, and try and bring these guys to safety and try and get the best ending possible. It was quite a 4-hour, 5-hour game tops really, but I had a great fun playing it. One of those games I would highly recommend while it's on PlayStation Plus and readily available. It's got a plethora of different endings, and little bits and pieces that I missed as well, and of course a lot of slasher horror tropes as well, which is one thing I do genuinely love about games, and how it brings it into the video game format from the iconic slasher movies, at least anyway. So Killer Frequency, that's my first little nugget of information and consumer advice for today. So with that done and said, let us have a look at the Mr. and Mrs. Lava Lava for Overcooked 2. And here we are, Mr. and Mrs. Lava Lava. I'm just going to hit play. We'll go straight into the gameplay, and I'll have a wee look and see how the lovers got on in this challenge. Then, so as it stands, Lover has always implied that Mrs. Lover has no interest in playing video games with them there, but from what I can see, they've got the exact same process as myself and Mrs. Tomahawk did. Always have the plates plated up, have someone on rice and someone on dressing of the plates. Then it looks like their lover has fired some sliced fish into the into the bin there, so we are slowly but surely getting a grasp on the characters and what they're doing there. I can only imagine that the player plating up is Lover, and Mrs. Lover is in charge of the rice. I will have to confirm those details with Lover next time I speak to him, but so far so good. I mean, they're not making too many mistakes here. Mrs. Lover is very much sticking to the rice station, albeit trying to find somewhere to put the plate down, to be fair. But Lover is straight on the fish. He's always making sure that they are chopped, that they are ready to be plated up. And so far, so good. We're about a minute 50 left. We're just under 400 points here. One thing I did quite like about this game is that the maps do vary as you go. So, like, the orders may sort of stay the same, but the layouts can change. You know, even you may have your items on one end, but the chopping boards be on the other. So there is a good bit of communication that is required on this. So one game that I did really enjoy, and I'm surprised of how much I enjoyed playing this game actually, as much as Lover and Cardinal may say that it was a bit chaos and a bit unenjoyable at times now. So that being said, they are flying through these orders here now. Lover is chopping fish like an absolute madman, and they're at 940 points so far now. So good showing so far, with still another minute to go. They've just hit the 1,000 point mark as well, and I can imagine the communication is absolutely key on this. In this instance, now they are a well-oiled machine here. That rice, the one thing I noticed is the rice always has to be on the go. It has to be in a perpetual motion, otherwise, you know, most of the dishes will fail, or you know, it's the component that takes the longest to get set up. So always has to have it in a steady flow as well. So we're into the final 30 seconds here, and we've just tipped over 13. We're just hit 1,400 points there now. And that's another 3 orders cleared for Lover and Mrs. Lover. So we're sitting at 20 seconds to go, and yeah, unfortunately, the way it is the rice is the one thing that makes every dish wait the longest here. So it looks like they can get another 2 or 3 dishes out at least anyway. So we've got 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And much to my surprise, now look at that, 21 completed orders, $600 in tips. That leaves them with a final score of 1,860 points now. So that is massively, massively impressive from the lovers there. So as it stands, they are sitting tippity top of the leaderboard here. They're going home with the 3 points, but we still have one more couple to watch, and that is the Cardinal family. So what we're going to do is we'll take another little break, and we'll get that gameplay loaded up. Just before we get to the Cardinal family gameplay footage, I just want to talk about another little game that I had been playing over the festive period as well. Game very similar to Hotline Miami, a game called Party Hard. For the small time that I have been playing this game, and it is crazy, but I love the aesthetic of it. I love the style of it. Basically, it is a top-down action stealth game, I suppose. You play as a man who just wants to get a good night's sleep, but everywhere he goes always seems to have a house party in the vicinity. So your aim and objective of the game is to kill all of the partygoers, so you can have a good night's sleep then. So you may end up with like 50 people in the room. You can just basically go around and stab all the characters, but you have to hide bodies. You have to make things look like accidents. So you can poison food, you can spike drinks, you can make phone calls, you can set explosives off. It is just an absolute chaotic looking game, and it just has this infinite possibilities of how you get these levels done. It was another It was actually a January sale PlayStation Plus purchase I picked up. I think it ended up being about 199. So if you got it, perfect. If you had it already, give it another go. I had so much fun playing this game. It's one of those ones, if you don't want to be hitting your AAA titles, you don't want to be playing anything major or anything too complex. This one was a nice, kills an hour basically, but I had a great time playing it and probably will continue to play it in the near future then. So that is pretty much the only other game I've been playing over this festive period then. So with that said, we'll go back and have a look at Cardinal Smith family and their attempt at Overcooked 2. So, Cardinal Smith family. Let's just hit play and we'll have a quick look at Overcooked 2 and their run through of this and see how they got on. I'm looking at the 5.5 minute video here, so I can only imagine that something devious is happening here, but we shall see and have a look. Now, we did have a lot of grief in this about this challenge, about actually getting our spouses on to play it, but it looks like we haven't had too many issues in terms of submitting, decent runs as well. But Cardinal and Mrs. Cardinal have a very interesting plan at the minute. They seem to be plating up all of their orders, but not actually putting anything onto the pass. And I am noticing at the same time that the timer hasn't gone down either, which has me worried. I have a feeling that they've now discovered some sort of hack in the game. Now we'll see. But they have 3 orders ready to plate, and they're still prepping ingredients now. So I'm very intrigued to see what they've got planned. They've now got 4 plates ready to go, and Cardinal Smith looks like he's just prepping ingredients and launching them to the side. Now, I have a feeling. I know what's going on here. It looks like yeah, I know exactly what's happening here. It looks like your timer doesn't start until the first order hits the pass. So the Smith family looks like they can just prep ingredients until their heart's content and don't have to plate anything up just yet. So this could end up being a little bit game breaking, but we shall see how we go, because they are just prepping fish like a mad married couple, and it's making me very worried now. And I imagine if Lova can see this as well, it's going to make him very, very cross, no doubt. But as we found out in High Scores, High Stakes, it's not about the victory itself. It's how you get to that victory, and you will be scrutinized heavily for that victory. So we are currently 2 minutes and 15 seconds into this video, and not a single plate has hit the pass yet. But Cardinal has prepped up Lord knows how many fish and has no place to actually put them anymore. I think they've now soon realized that there's only going to be 4 plates maximum on their counter. So that's 2 plates cleared, another 2 plates cleared. And what they can do now is start to plate. Well, I suppose the problem is now they have the waiting game, waiting the plates to spawn, but they have Lord knows how much fish prepped and can just fire through the orders as quick as they can and get their longest component, which is the rice. They can start getting that plated and readied to just start hammering through these orders here now. So that's another 2 up off the pass as well. And the tips on these are quite generous as well. So they're very good at getting this. Oh God, I'm looking at this now. They're flying through their orders here as long as they have plates moving, as long as they have components moving. They can. Oh God, I have a feeling this one's going to be a good score in the end of it now, because we're just at 750 points. They've still got, I can see, at least 10 portions of fish ready to go, and the biggest component is as I say, the rice. So they're absolutely flying through this now, and it's very methodical from the Cardinal Smith family here. And that's them just pushed over 1,000 points here, and relatively at ease as well. Everyone seems to know what they're doing. There's no stress, there's no mess, there's no fuss. I can't say how much arguing it potentially has gone on in the run-up to this challenge, but that's them just over 1,200 points with a minute still to go. 1,300 points now. So the Cardinals are flying through this challenge with ease, really. I'm a bit shocked in how devious this plan is. It's not a feature I even realized was available in the game, that as long as you haven't put anything on the pass, the timer won't start. So stroke of genius for Cardinal Smith to realize that. we're just coming up to 1,500 points there. That is that done and dusted. Still with 30 seconds to go, and they're still flying through more orders here. They've got their rice on the go again. They're just waiting on more fish because that is officially them running out now. 15 seconds to go on this order, and they've another order across the table there now. And panic stations are starting to set in because they've got, 3, 2, 1, rice over the pass at the last second then as well. What a genius stroke from the Cardinals there. 22 completed orders with a final score of 1,952 points. That is absolutely stellar from the Cardinals there. So, I mean, the way we sometimes run this is the winner down from the previous challenge. What we've done is we've actually now ended up in the reverse order now. So myself and Mrs. Tomahawk are walking away with 1 point. The Lovers are walking away with 2 points, and the Cardinals are walking away with 3 big points going into this last challenge here. So what we can do now is we can put Overcooked 2 to bed. We'll have a wee look and have a wee dissect of that, and we will see what that does for the league table going into the finale. So we'll see you there. So that's it. We can officially put Overcooked 2 to bed. The penultimate episode, the penultimate challenge, is now done and dusted. As I said there, me and Mrs. Tomahawk have finished with 1 point. The Lovers have finished with 2 points, and the Cardinals have bagged 3 points going into that challenge. What does that mean for the league table going into the final challenge of season 4? Well, as it stands, in third place with 34 points, it's me, Tomahawk. In second place, on 35 points, it's Cardinal Smith. And also on 35 points, but by virtue of challenge wins, is Mr. Lova Lova in first place. So, not a great deal of movement in the league table. Cardinals shifted up from the bottom. I've now shifted back down. Still all to play for going into this final challenge, but it is not just the final challenge we need to be worried about. As of today, at time of release, our season-long challenge should be up and running and live on all of the social medias, and it is going to be down to you, the viewers, you, the listeners, wherever you're watching this, however you engage with us on the podcast, to help decide who wins our season-long challenge. We have been tasked over the course of the 12 weeks to compile a photo montage. We have had preset themes. They'll all be listed in the socials as we release this episode. And we have a screenshot challenge. We took pictures from all manner of games across every genre you could possibly think of, and we'll have these displayed out into the world, and it'll be down to the public vote and who comes away with 10 bonus points, which will help big time going into our final challenge, which when we get to the wrap-up section, we will let you know what that is. But we can put Overcooked 2 to bed. I actually really enjoyed this challenge for having a non-gaming wife to come over and actually be able to put an hour worth of attempts, really, and it was quite good. We did play through a bit more of the story, and as chaotic as it got, a few more arguments did sort of come to the surface there, but I have a feeling that Cardinal and Lova will back me up on that trying to get them for any prolonged period of time was quite difficult. So a good challenge, very different from what we're used to doing, but next week shall be normal service. So we'll get into the wrap-up section and we'll have a look about what is on next week and beyond. So that's it, another episode all wrapped up. We are now going to be at the end of season 4. Next week is our grand finale, and with that, the final game of season 4. It is a game that we did want to play in season 1, but at the time didn't have multiplayer compatibility. If you've listened to us from the start, you'll have realised that our season 1 finale was Quake. What it was meant to be, and what it is this season, is Doom. So it's going to be a battle royale, winner takes all, for the season 4 cup. Going forward beyond that then, we'll go straight into our side quests, and the way that's going to fall this month particularly, is we'll get this episode next week will be Doom, and then our last episode of the month will be our first game of the month for January. And if you've been following us on the socials, you'll know that is the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. So I'm quite looking forward to getting that episode out into the world then. But before we go, we'll just do a little bit more housekeeping. As I say, if you've liked what you've listened to. Don't be afraid to give us a follow, a subscribe, a like on any platform that you watch this, or any platform that you interact with us. You can also direct your browsers to highscoreshighstakes.com. That'll give you links to everywhere that we are on the internet. That is going to be Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Discord, the works. All the links will be in the description below. So do give us a like, rate, subscribe, 5 stars, whatever star you think we're actually worth. That just helps with a bit more visibility, gets more eyes and ears on the podcast, and you can always recommend it to a friend on any text format that you use on your phones or smart devices anyway as well. So, with all that being said and done, next week hopefully we should return to a full strength lineup. We'll have a stacked episode with some double points on in that game, a lot more of being told what we've been playing, and of course, Doom. In the meantime, I have been Mr. Lava Lava. I have not been Mr. Lava Lava. I have been Tomahawk. And this has been High Scores, High Stakes. Take care. Love you all. Bye.